February 2nd, 2014. Hogeride, Netherlands. Two titans of cyclocross are locked in an epic duel for the rainbow jersey. Sven, the defending world champion at 37 years old, fighting time itself for one more moment of glory. Zdenek Stybar, the Czech powerhouse who'd stepped away from cross to focus on road racing, returning for one last shot at immortality. What followed was one of the greatest world championship duels in cyclocross history. Zdenek Stybar almost didn't race the 2014 World Championships. The Czech rider had essentially retired from cyclocross, limiting his appearances to just a handful of races between Christmas and Worlds, while focusing on his road career with Omega Pharma Quickstep. Quote, 3 days ago, I thought not to start because it would be ridiculous. Also, because I have to start behind, Stybar admitted about his poor grid position. His minimal 2014 season made him seem like an outsider against riders who'd been racing the full season. But Stybar had been doing explosive power training for his road season, work that translated perfectly to cyclocross. The team manager had given him permission to race, though Stybar downplayed expectations. Quote, I said that I want to start, but only to get some publicity for the team and get 15th. In the end, I was relaxed. Maybe too relaxed. The relaxed approach might have been exactly what he needed. Without pressure to perform, he could race instinctively, dangerous for any of his opponents. Sven arrived carrying the weight of expectation and time. The 37-year-old Belgian had won 2 world championships and over 140 competitive victories, but was fighting to prove he still belonged at the sport's pinnacle. His season had been incredible still. Victories in Ball on New Year's Day, the Belgian championships by a dominant margin, plus wins in Zonnebeek and Leuven. He'd strategically skipped the final World Cup to arrive here in peak form. Quote, I'm nearly 38. I never forget that. There's also the pressure. I was the guy of which everybody said would win the race. It's mentally hard. The course conditions seemed perfect for the veteran. Rains had created technical terrain where experience mattered more than pure power. But standing across from him was a rider who'd already won world titles in 2010 and 2011, returning with nothing to lose. Francis Moret repeated his 2013 tactics, attacking from the gun to set an early pace. Early casualties mounted. Martin Bina crashed in second, Lars van der Haar skillfully bunny hopped the fallen rider, and most dramatically, Niels Albert suffered another terrible start. Stybar charged through the field from his poor grid position. Quote, moving to the front was a big effort. I almost crashed too. Once in front, I didn't have to wait for anybody and went for it, even if it would be over for me after 3 laps. By the last end, Stybar and Nice had caught the front, with van der Haar desperately trying to stay in medal contention. Albert was already 20 seconds behind, his championship dreams over before they'd truly begun. The Belgian contingent maintained strength in numbers with Van Turnhout and Powell's all in contention, but the rainbow jersey battle was already solidifying between the Czech powerhouse and the Belgian. What followed was pure theater, 2 masters trading moves and showcasing different approaches to the same challenge. Stybar relied on power and road racing fitness, while Nice countered with tactical intelligence and technical superiority. With 5 laps remaining, their gap to the Belgian chase group had grown to 17 seconds, enough breathing room for tactical warfare. Nice tested Stybar on a short incline, where the Czech rider briefly looked vulnerable. Each seemed to anticipate the other's moves, neutralizing attacks before they fully developed. When Stybar looked strongest on power sections, Nice responded. When Nice tried using experience to create gaps, Stybar responded. With 3 laps remaining, Stybar nearly hit the barriers in the muddy section, but recovered. The chase was at 20 seconds, relevant if either leader cracked, but far enough back for the duel to continue. Disaster 2 laps to go brought the first decisive moment. On an off-camber corner, Stybar's bike slipped. Nice's reaction was instantaneous. He dismounted and leapfrogged his rival in one fluid movement, demonstrating the technical mastery that defined his career. Stybar's road racing power showed immediately, neutralizing Nice's advantage within seconds. Nice responded with his biggest attack, opening a 2-second gap that looked potentially decisive until Cyclocross's cruel randomness intervened. Nice crashed in a U-turn, wiping out his lead and giving Stybar the impetus to counterattack. The final lap began with both riders level, their earlier crashes having neutralized advantages. everything came down to the next few minutes. Stybar made his move in the mud, the same section where he'd been losing ground throughout the race. I knew I had to lead there in the final lap, he later explained. When the Czech attacked in the thick conditions, his brute force finally proved decisive. Nice was forced to dismount, the technical section that had been his advantage becoming where he lost the rainbow jersey. Stybar crossed with arms raised, an unexpected victory in Hoogeride. Sven Nice's response revealed the character that had defined his career. Rather than excuses or disappointment, he embraced both his performance and his opponent's victory. Quote, "We were equally strong, both on a really high level. We were both on our limit. I don't think I'm a loser today. I'm also a winner, and that's what I take along for the remainder of the season." Stybar's triumph was remarkable for his approach as much as its execution. His minimal preparation, relaxed attitude, and willingness to race without pressure created the perfect championship mindset. This third world title cemented Stybar's status among the sport's legends. The question remained about his cyclocross future. The victory represented both an ending and a beginning, Stybar's final great cyclocross moment and the start of a new era, as younger riders prepare to reshape the sport entirely. For one perfect afternoon in the Dutch mud, two masters created something timeless, where experience met power, tactics confronted force, and the finest margins determined immortality.